Hi guys. Okay, I'm just working on the scope. I'm just going to leave the camera on and I'll put some background music on and whatever, and you'll see sort of how I do it, because I realise you're not seeing a lot of it actually what I'm doing. So maybe this will be a help. Now, this is just the body of the scope in there, and what I'm going to do is do this front bit now. And with SketchUp, you can highlight a unit like that, copy it, and then highlight the whole thing and make it as a group. Now what I'll do is I'll paste that plate back in. There it is. So now what I can do is actually make that shape, which is pretty easy. I just profile expand it about there. It's not that much bigger, and just drag it forward. Oh, wrong bit. Drag it forward, whatever I need. Now from memory, it hasn't got a big deep shroud in here. There's a lens right at the front, so that will be put in. Luckily I have a Anycubic mono, so I can print some clear resin lenses. So that's about right proportionally. What I'm going to do is make that a group it with that, and now I've actually got one here that's already drawn in. I've got it filled with clear. I'll just fill it with a solid, and what I'll do, just draw that there, and I'm just making a handle, so make that a group. Now I will drag this one in, probably by a point, and put it exactly where the other point is on the other piece, and that way I know I've got it in the right spot. Then I can choose that one and just delete it. So now I can see my shroud is nowhere near long enough, so that's easy. Double click and drag that edge along about there. Now I can also see it's nowhere near as wide, so I'm going to have to widen the whole thing. Not a great issue. And I can also do the same at the back end. So I'm just going to start playing around with this and just leave the camera running, and you'll see what happens. So these look the same as that, so I'll just model it on that. Okay. Right, just while I'm doing this, I'm thinking of the way how I'm going to print it, and the look of this, it's pretty easy because it tapers up all the way. So that will be sitting face down on the build plate, and the whole thing will be done vertically. Because these bevels here are so shallow that I don't think they'll need support, and then everything goes up, so it should be reasonably easy to do it that way. The only place that probably needs support is inside here for the rims for the lenses to sit on, but that'll be inside so you won't see it. So we're doing good. Let's keep going. Right guys, God, that's like 3 hours work. So I've done the scope, pretty good match I reckon. I'll bring this forward a bit. A few good hours work there, so I've done the scope, pretty good match I think. You know, details I can't see, things I can't work out, but you know, the main thing was actually how it's mounted this Picatinny rail, because you can definitely see it in an overview, but there's another sort of attachment, so I've just roughly put something in and we'll see what happens. It's probably wide enough, I don't know, maybe it could be a bit bigger in scale. I'll have to check it out when one thing that's going to help with that is once I do this little box here that hangs off the side, so that will give me another reference point. So probably needs to go a bit bigger. Done the magazine well, so that's joined all those bits together. There's 3 or 4 different pieces, so that's done. The magazine is parallel to the magazine well, which is right, but I cut it off at an angle here, made a mistake, so that's not a problem. So I'm just going to move the mag back a tad, so it just sits in the center of that. It really only needs to be able to go in through the bottom. What happens up there doesn't really matter. This part here I'm going to extend up a bit, and that will butt against this when you put it in, so it's like a stop. Now the only other thing I've got to deal with in that area is the magazine catch, which is here. And if this is anything like the M16 magazine, what you do is you push that in, and that pushes an arm that goes up the side here, just a flat plate, across here, right around to the other side of the magazine, and it pulls like a pin out of a hole that's in the magazine here somewhere. So it basically, it's just a pin that the thing hangs on, and when you push the magazine catch, the catch comes out of the hole and the magazine falls out. In the actual M16 it actually comes down behind the magazine, but I think I'm going to need that room for other things, and I think I've got enough room to put it up here, run it up the side here and around. I'm not sure at the moment. I could even do it so it just clicks into the front surface, which might work, I don't know. Right guys, another day of work. Now first what I've done is tidied up the magazine, put a proper shape to it. Still only half, of course, got the proper angle, so still got to work out the release click. What I'm thinking of doing is just putting like longitudinal slots in the surface of the magazine up here where it can't be seen, and having a I don't know what type of spring you call it, but it's just a bow of metal that's anchored there and there on the inside of the blaster, and it just sticks out, so you're pushing in like a friction fit, that sort of thing. If I can't make that button work, which is getting more and more likely because it's really badly placed, but anyway. Okay, what else have I done? I decided to draw a little round, put it in the top of the magazine. Don't know if I'll print him out some spares and make the magazine loadable, don't know. And the other thing, I've joined the back of this area. The front of it, what I've done, this area is separate to this area. What I've done, I've cut it in half, joined it there, so that gives it a full surround, because that is a weak spot. So next is to work on this, but what I also did very quickly was mocked up a bolt. Pretty close, it needs a few rounded edges. But the interesting thing about it is if you look at this drawing here, that tube looks like it could run all the way up here. I know it's not practical or nothing, but it'd be great to have a metal tube running from there right up to the front for strength, and I'm going to try and work that out. But that means I have to stop at the moment because I need to know what size this metal tube is. I'm going to get whatever I get to make all the recesses and the brackets. You know, there'll be like just a flat plate in there with a hole in the center that the tube just go through in a friction fit sort of thing. You can get them that are threaded at both ends, and it'd be great to be able to screw it in. It would also mean that the bolt can be reciprocating easily because it'll just sit over it'll sit like this. There, say that's the tube, and the bolt will just sit over and go back and forth. Just wrap a spring around it, so you got it just like pump actions on Nerf pump action on these things, which I've built dozens of them. So at the moment, what I've got to do is get that pipe and then adjust everything to fit. Just got to do it. The only other thing is the bolt is the way I've drawn it. It's blocky at the back here, it's square, and when it goes right back, let me just select it and drag a copy when it goes back. Can't go back that far actually, but even if it goes back that far, it's going to hit up here. So what I'll do, I'll probably put a little bevel on it there, just add something to the look of it as well, and I'll just round off all these corners and sharp edges. This thing's just a placeholder, and what I think I need to do is actually make that solid. Yep, there we go. So there we go, doing that. So what I've still got to do is work out where the cut is here, and I did a quick measurement. It's about 200 here, no, 1800 here, about 200 here, and only a short little bit, about 160 or something. So getting there. So I reckon in a couple of days, what I'll be able to do when I've got all the sides done and flipped and all the embossing done and everything in place, I'll combine it all into a model, make it an STL file, but make it 1/6 actual size, so it'll come out about so big. And that'll just allow me to look at it, look at proportions, see how everything fits together before I waste a lot of time and a lot of filament doing something that might have a mistake in it I can't see at the moment. Right guys, okay, so this is the original bolt carrier, whatever you want to call it. I'll just colour it in a nice purple so you can see it. And it was just a placeholder. So what I've done, I've gone back and remodeled it and made it a bit more interesting, got a bit more of the details in. Now, the only thing I haven't done yet, and because I'm in two minds about this, this blue pipe here is my placeholder for 15mm pipe. And you can see how that goes through. Now if you look at this image here, if you look at that to me, that pipe there runs all the way through here, which will be perfect for what I want. And this looks like it's part of a shroud on top of the bolt, on the top half of the bolt, so I've got to put that in. Now I've got room to do it, which is great. Now that blue is the 15mm pipe. The purple over here, or the pink, the bright pink, is a 20mm. So I'll look like I'm going to be doing the blue, the 15mm, and that has a wall thickness of 3 as opposed to 3.5. So these two little rings that I just printed out, that's the one for the 20mm pipe, that's 27, and this is the one for the 15mm pipe, which should be 21, but it's actually 22 because I measured it wrong. So I'm going to go to a hardware store now and get myself a bit of 15mm pipe, and then I just got to work out how to put this in, whether I'm going to put like what I've done over here. I've just taken out the center of everything and just trying to work out how to do it, whether I'm going to have a protrusion sitting up which the bolt sits on. I think I can paste the bolt in place. Yes, there it is. So that will sit on there and run back and forwards on that, along with these two here, this thing here, which you can see in that drawing there and there, they're like guide bars I'm suggesting, and what I'm going to do is have them as metal bolts or tubes glued into this rear area. This body will go down in here inside this outer bit, and they will stick in, and I'll only be coming up to here because this has got to go back, and I'll just have the rest just a hollow hole all the way through, so when you pull it back you'll also have some details to look at. Yeah, wow. I've also got to work out a cocking handle because I can't see a cocking handle on this thing anywhere, and I keep forgetting about this little doodad here. So who knows, maybe it's electric cocking, I don't know. So the next probably day or so of modelling is going to be getting that to move back inside without hitting the housing. Now as you can see, the housing for the bolt to move in inside the body, I've pulled it back to here, which may or may not be enough space, I don't know, I haven't played with that yet, but if I pull back a copy, So if I want to get the bolt back there, I'm going to have to extend that housing a little bit, which shouldn't be a great problem. And that's about how far it'll go back, which is okay. That's not really the issue. The issue is it's the housing, the internal walls are popping out through this bit where these controls are supposed to be. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. And yeah, so I'm going to have to work on that. I might have to shave a little bit off the inside of the inside wall of the bolt and just make it a little bit narrower to give me just enough clearance to get past there. You can see it's virtually just touching flat on flat. It's probably once shrunk down barely a millimetre. So I could probably get away with doing that, but then I also have to have the controls and stuff. So it also might necessitate like putting another one of these recesses in, one of these here. Simply so it passes over what's on the inside of this bit here. So we'll see what happens. And I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.